Hi, welcome to my fall reset program. We are here in week 2, hip mobility, day 1, glute and hammy. Our hip mobility starts with a Faber test. We are going to start with our foot right at our knee, drop your knee away, and see how far your hip is going to externally rotate. Let's get both sides. Again, your foot goes to your knee, and drop that knee open and feel how tight or how loose it is. Be aware of how your hips are feeling equally side to side. You can drop both hips down and see the comparison from one hip to the other. Let's get into our banded hip mobilization. You're going to start with a medium or heavy pull-up resistance band in the crease of your hip. We are going to lay down into pigeon pose. Bring that working leg all the way in so your ankle is nice and high. We are going to drop to our elbows, hold for 3 seconds, and go 15 reps. We are only going 1 round, so really sit into those 3 seconds and feel your hip being pulled backwards out of its socket, a really long stretch all the way through your booty into the deep part of your hips. As you drop down, the stretch should be more intense, and then you come back up to give it a little rest. In just 15 reps, we are externally rotating our hips and really going to help create open hips, get into a deeper squat, and relieve any pain we may have in our low back, hip, or knees. So make sure when you sit into those elbows, you are very intentionally counting to 3 and feeling a deep stretch in your hip. We are only going 1 round, 15 reps each leg, and keep in mind which leg was tighter in that very first test so we can see the difference in just a few minutes. Let's retest here together. For our Faber test, we are testing our external rotation of our hip. Bring your foot to your knee and drop that knee on down, externally rotating. Wow, both my knees are dropping way further than they did in the beginning. I'll show you both real quick. They're both inches closer to the floor and feeling more equal side to side. Check out this screenshot of my left side. You can see this banded mobility exercise has helped for me, and I'll make sure to include it 1 to 2 times a week. Let's jump into our exercise. We are starting here with a heel elevated glute bridge with a band. Make sure that band is tight enough that you're feeling tension throughout your glutes in every rep. Add a resistance dumbbell if you can over those hips. And we're squeezing the booty from the floor all the way up to a straight line from your shoulders to your knees, applying tension on the band. On the way down, push those knees out, and on the way back up, push those knees out even further. As you can see, I am pushing through my heels and not pushing through my toes. As a reminder, I like to lift my toes up to the ceiling here, so I'm ensuring pushing through my heels, squeezing up through my hammy and glutes. Jumping straight into a banded abduction. Go ahead and sit on a little chair or a box or a step stool. You're gonna keep your feet together as you push your knees out wide. Most important part here is that you're leaning your chest, your upper body as far forward as you can, making sure your glutes are nice and lengthened, and add that abduction. We're going to superset both of those glute exercises with a single leg B stance RDL. So holding 1 dumbbell in your working leg, you're going to take a hip hinge, push those hips back to the wall and squeeze up, making sure your shins are vertical and there's a bend in your knee. The more bend you get in your knee, the more glutes you will be working opposed to just hamstrings. So those knees don't move forward and back, but they are bending. Make sure to brace that belly button on the way down and squeeze your booty back up to the top. Long range of motion, but I only want 2-3 inches under that knee. You don't have to go any lower than that. RDLs and deadlifts can be tricky, so I recommend record yourself from a side view and look at your own form. You want to make sure you're seeing your shins are vertical, a bend in your knee, and a bend in your hip. Flat back all the way through, shoulders are squeezing back, and your abs are bracing tight with those glutes. Jumping into our next superset, we are going to take a sumo squat. So sumo means your feet are going to be wider than your shoulders. You're going to push those knees out on the way down and knees out on the way up. Try to tap the floor with your resistance, or if you have a dumbbell, hold the dumbbell into your chest and sit that booty all the way down and squeeze that booty up. Every rep should start with a deep breath. Engage those abs on the way down. Sit nice and low, 90 degrees or lower on those knees, and squeeze your booty back to the top. Let's superset those squats with an elevated reverse lunge. We are going to step back into the lunge, and we are working that front leg. As we go down, make sure to get full range of motion. That knee should just hover slightly over that floor all the way down. And most important part to feel this in your glute is to make sure you are leaning forward, dropping your chest right over your front leg. If you're feeling this more dominant in your quad, you're missing that forward lean. So make sure you're really leaning into that front leg to feel more glutes. Make sure you're stepping far enough back that that back knee has a 90-degree angle. Your booty and hammy should be feeling so good right now. Make sure to comment down below if the Faber test helped your hips feel more open. Do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button before you go.